The pandemic caused an overwhelming number of patients needing immediate medical care. Some are even afraid to go to hospitals, but most with non-emergency cases opt to stay at home to feel safe. In worst cases, some patients delay their healing altogether. Health must always be a priority regardless of context. With this, we will explore different modes of alternative healing in today's show. Welcome to Restart Wellness. I'm Stephen Koo. For today's show, we'll do a bit of a social experiment. We'll try to find out how many of you have tried alternative healing and how many will open their minds in this option after the show. In the meantime, let's take a look at what's trending today. Even before the pandemic, the Department of Health has encouraged Filipinos to try traditional and alternative healing methods. Beyond conventional medicine, there are various ways we can heal ourselves that are globally recognized, with some even emerging as trends. The onset of the pandemic has created new fears and new needs. People are expressing their fear over visiting hospitals and are hence seeking other means of healing. While this is the case, many still ask, are these alternative methods effective as they claim to be?
How can this be happening to me? There's this overwhelming desire to find that normal, to find a solution as soon as possible. And so you take this potent mix of emotions, fear, feeling lost, and you add hope, which is so important. But it can be a little bit like wearing a pair of rose-colored glasses. And suddenly when you pop open your computer and these ads are there promising you exactly what you need, exactly the moment you need them.
Here to give us a better understanding of alternative healing methods is our panel of specialists once again. First off, we have modern sage, life mentor, author of 12 books, and chief healing scientist, Master Delpe. Next, we have integrative oncology medical director at the Akisis Holistic Health, Dr. Homer Lim. And last but not the least, we have advocate of natural therapies and yogi, my good friend, Ms. Teresa Herrera. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi.
How are you guys? How's everything at home? Is everybody at home right now, or are you guys working already? Are you guys at your clinics?
I'm at home.
Working as usual. Never stop.
Yeah, I think Master is over at his wellness center over at Ilocos Sur. I think Doc is already at his clinic and Teresa is at home. So before we go deep into the discussion, let's hear your hot takes on this particular matter. So the question is alternative healing as effective as conventional medical treatments? Guys, please flash your yes or no answer on screen right now. Okay, so a big yes for Doc, Master, and a thumbs up for Teresa. So I guess everybody agrees that alternative healing is as effective as conventional medical treatments nowadays. A while ago, we asked the question to the audience, do you believe in alternative healing? And we're going to pull up that poll right now just so that we get a feel and a pulse of our audience. And the results are 77% believe in alternative treatments. So that's a good sign for everyone. And I think this discussion will be more interesting now that we have an audience keyed in who believes in it. We would like to encourage our live viewers to key in more questions as we will ask our specialists. We'll pick out questions from the questions that we will pick out special questions from the chat group and have them answer it later on in the program. In the meantime, we'd like to encourage everybody to still join the Restart Wellness community, where people can connect and get access to exclusive content and resources, like the workshop that Master Delpe had over last week, where we did willpower in trying to overcome your life's challenges. Right now, let's first define the different modes of alternative treatment available. This is a segment we call the slant. So, the question for everyone, and please feel free to chime in, is what are the differences between alternative, integrative, complementary, traditional, and holistic modes of healing? That's it's a mouthful right there, but maybe we can start off with Doc Homer Lim.
Well, actually, when we say alternative, complementary, traditional, and holistic, they actually mean the same type of healing. Okay, so it's just rather different terms by different people, but they refer to the same healing modality or healing philosophy. No? So, however, when we say integrative, when we mean integrative medicine, we're integrating or combining Eastern complementary traditional holistic medicine with conventional medical therapy. So that's the difference between the integrative versus the alternative complementary traditional or holistic forms of therapy.
Got it. Master, would you like to add anything to that?
I think I agree with Dr. Lim. The difference really is 1800 has branded the word alternative as something that has not to do with pharmaceutical or injections or surgery. So anything that's outside that purview is alternative. But complementary is something that you can use your healing system, augmenting the medical profession. So it's like more complementary, means like a joining forth and along with medicine. Now, in terms of integrative medicine, it can be a combination of holistic. Holistic is more of a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being kind of thing. Now, if you join the holistic, the complementary, and even the alternative medicine, which include the effect of the surrounding, the effect of the air, energy of the earth, and so on, that becomes integrative. But in terms of the Oriental medicine, such as the Taoist system, that can stand on its own. So I say that's alternative medicine, but it can be integrative medicine. Our system called the energy healing or vibrational medicine can be both complementary, can be with doctors using our system, or can be alternative. It can stand on its own. It includes also a lot of aspect of energy of the earth, which is more integrated.
Got it. Master, now, Teresa, as a practitioner, does it confuse you that there are different types of alternative healing treatments that were mentioned? Because you practice these different types of holistic methods, right?
Yes, yes. Well, I was introduced to this world of natural medicine and natural lifestyle through yoga. So my framework, my background, and my perspective always comes through yoga and Ayurveda. But I have been exposed to all these multiple holistic, alternative, integrative, complementary, and energetic healing modalities through different healers, teachers, doctors, acupuncturists, things like that for over 20 years. For me, as someone who's experiencing it on the other end, so there's practitioners, but then there are, I guess for lack of the better word, individuals or consumers, I would go in. Most of these have a very similar kind of area that they cover, which is pretty much, for me, in my viewpoint, is these modalities allow the body and they support the body to heal itself. And that for me is a big plus.
Okay, that's a good point that you brought up there, Teresa, and I'm going to dive into it more later when I get to you. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave Doc Homer with us because I want to discuss with you, particularly, Doc, your specialty, which is Chinese traditional medicine and nutritional therapy. So I want to find out what are the common practices and how it's typically done in your particular industry, being in the integrative oncology medical field. Doc Homer, would you like to tell us more about your practice?
So what we actually do when we see patients is we ask, not just medical questions. We ask them, how's their sleep? Do they go to the bathroom on a regular basis? What do they eat? So these are one of the things that we also have to ask, which is, rarely asked in conventional medicine. So when we talk about whether it's traditional Chinese medicine, we're asking not just what is the problem. We also ask or try to get what are the things that that is in the environment as well as what you're taking in. So because these are tips as well as some guide you to what's the real issue. Because when we say alternative complementary, we're actually looking at the root cause of diseases, not just giving certain drugs just to to remove pain. So we're actually when we're trying to do this, we're trying to look at what is the source or the root of the issue, and then we address that.
Doc, you mentioned that you do integrative medicine, right? So this is basically a balance of tradition, the alternative Chinese medicine, for example, and conventional medical medicine. Can you give me an example of how, like, the two meet together? Like, for example, give me an example of a patient that you treated where they did both rather than just one.
Well, I think the best example would be in some complementary medicine or holistic medicine, there's no real antibiotics. So you might have some silver, colloidal silver as an antibiotic, but it's not as powerful and as fast as how when you give an actual antibiotics. Because if you have patients who have infection, of course, we want to get rid of the infection. That's the time we would give medicine. So only when it's necessary, then we give the drug. But if not, we can use natural ways. Why not?
Okay, got it. Okay, I want to jump into the next field that you're a specialist in, and that's nutritional therapy. So, can you tell us more about nutritional therapy?
Nutritional therapy is just basically what we're trying to do is trying to replace or trying to give proper, correct nutrition to whatever the issue is. Let's say the patient has fever. So if you have fever, is it because you're lacking a certain drug, or maybe because you're just not drinking enough water, right?
Okay,
or if you're constipated, is it because you are lacking a certain laxative, or maybe you're not eating the right type of food. So so that's what we are trying to do, is we're trying to get nutrition, because without proper nutrition, you cannot really get to the root cause or get to get to heal themselves, as what Teresa was saying a while ago. What we're trying to do is healing the patient, getting them to become well again with just the least amount of drugs or no drugs, and let the body do its own thing, because our body is a very powerful and very complex organism. So that's basically what we do.
In most cases, Doc Homer, would you encounter a patient who would have gone to a doctor first, a medical doctor, before going to you, or most of the time they pursue alternative healing first or alternative treatments before they see a medical doctor?
Well, actually, I would say 50-50. The 50 ones are, they get tired of, going back to the doctors because they don't seem to be getting well. And then the other half would be those who are really already, into this field, and therefore they really know that this is what works for them.
Got it. And I guess last question is, do you see more of the younger people now going towards alternative treatments, or is it more of the older segment of the market?
Actually, it's not about the age. It's rather those who start asking questions. Is this drug the way for me to get better, or maybe we have to change your diet? I have to change the way I live my life. So it's not about the age. It's rather about when they ask their questions, is this the right way for me to get better?
Okay. Right now we have a video question, and we're gonna key in that right now, and maybe you can help us answer this question.
Hi, my name is Rina, and I have a question. Does alternative healing guarantee you cure for your ailments? And if so, is there any study available out there that could back this up? Thank you.
Okay. So the question is...
Okay, so...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so, I mean, whether it's conventional, complementary, alternative, there's no such thing as guarantee. Okay, so when you guarantee something, then, that's like being a snake oil salesman. So
Mhm.
there's no guarantee. But what we can prove and really say that do these complementary studies have complementary therapies have studies. Actually, just acupuncture alone have thousands, if not millions, of studies. Your vitamins and minerals, there have so many studies out there. Even just vitamin D alone in the last 5 years would have already 300,000 studies already. So
Mhm.
the alternative medicine group is or healing group is already shown to be of benefit. In fact, in major hospitals in the United States, whether it's
Correct.
Sloan Kettering, Mayo, Stanford, all of them have complementary
Mhm.
division in their hospitals because
Yes.
they understand that they have to combine to be a more effective way of treating patients.
Correct. I think even the Department of Health in the Philippines has also advocated the pursuit of alternative treatments, especially because the Philippines is really known for its herbs, and roots and all of that. No. So yes, so you're saying, Doc, there is scientific background, or there is scientific studies that back up all these alternative treatments, and it's not just all like this parang how they used to brand it as quack, kumbaga, diba? It's really backed up by science.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we have the internet now, so you can
Mm.
pretty much validate everything that I would say.
Okay, thank you so much, Doc Homer. We'll bring you back in a while. Now we will talk about energy healing. Okay, so energy healing, this is something that sounds very fantastical, but people are slowly getting into it. We want to find out how it works and how it is linked to your mind, body, and spirit. So with me now is again once again the modern sage and life mentor, and of course the founder of the World Institute for Incurable Diseases. Please welcome Master Dalpe. Hi, Master. Welcome back.
Hi,
I see you have better internet signal. That's good.
very good. Thank you.
So tell us, Master, last episode when we talked about mental health, you did mention something about your practice, but maybe you can expound more on how you do your alternative treatments.
Well, I do it in varied way. It's I designed it to be versatile. It's called Be Well
Mm.
Science. We can work with a doctor, and it's both a teaching institution for specialized healers, or it can be also a delivery of services and healing programs. So on the teaching side, we certify many people. Like I just finished certifying COVID-19 specialists and healing comorbidities and side effects. I also do HIV/AIDS, autism, schizophrenia, all the incurable diseases that are not medical responders. So that's why my cases are kind of difficult. Now, on the healing line, we also augment the works of the doctors. So we have to know the diagnosis, what the doctors say, the prognosis. But most people do not have tests, such in COVID-19 or asymptomatic or mild or moderate. They don't have the tests, or they have only symptoms. So we have a scanning technique using energy. We can look at the energy profile of the aura. We can look at the chakras. We can look at the energy of the glands, the organs, and we can see where this infections are happening through the third eye and psychic faculty. That is the additional thing that we are a little bit outside the box, because if there's no diagnosis, you have to do it yourself to look at the energy patterns of diseases, like comparing, say, diabetes type 1 versus type 2 versus gestational. So we have to see the pattern. So when people call us and they don't have diagnosis, we still can heal them by looking at the patterns of their chakras or auras, the energy around them, and look at the energies of the organs, whether they are compromised or not, whether the kidneys, the liver energies, or the lungs are compromised or not in, let's say, COVID-19. So we can look at where the virus are going and so on. So we use our extra sensory perception, our ESP, to look at the energy when there's a diagnosis of the doctor. When the doctor's diagnose and there's prognosis from the doctor, we have to use that also as a valid fact, so that we will be tied up with the medical profession. So that's called complementary side of our work. When there's no doctor, like the quarantine, there's so many people calling us for help, and they don't have any checkup. They don't have medical pills. They want you to go to the hospital. The doctor said, don't come here. There's so much patients who are infected. So that's the time we have so much patients and so much clients around the world calling us every day and night, like continuous. We are like ICU online. And so we've been healing a lot of that. And that's the time that we can look at the energy, look at whether it's mild, moderate, or critical, or serious cases. And I've done it for HIV before when I used to heal people in Africa. That's why I transferred that healing technology to COVID-19, and it's very easy for me. So we use energetic healing. And if the person needs physical willpower stamina, we use the physical exercise and breathing. If the person needs more centering and emotional healing, we use a certain kind of meditation for healing emotions. If it is about the mind that needs to be sharpened, we need to have another technique for sharpening the mind. Or if the person has a dark night of the soul, they need more stimulation, they need more spiritual awakening, then we need higher meditations. And the techniques called the dark night of the soul plan. So I have a heal plan that has 55 healing cases that are, I would say, constellation of many symptoms. Because today diseases are very complex. They're sophisticated conditions. It's not like depression per se and nothing else. It can be depression with alcoholism. It can be insomnia with depression with anxiety or PTSD. It can be HIV with pneumonia and hepatitis C. It can be COVID-19 with a stroke and with paralysis as a comorbidity. So if you have only a very linear way of approaching the healing process, your speed of recovery is lower than the speed of decay. Healing only happens when the speed of recovery is faster than the speed of decay. That is the bottom line, really. So we use the energy. We can look at the energy, and also we can heal the person through counseling or talking to them, life coaching, life mentoring. Or what they need sometimes is more of a willpower development. That's why many techniques we teach is not just a technique of love and listening to the person or talk therapy. It's not just coaching the mind to know what to do next. It's increasing the willpower so that they can act accordingly what they want to do. They can finish the regimen that doctors tell them. They can at least go and exercise every day to increase their stamina, and so many other techniques that needs self-discipline and self-control. So we combine the technique of power, the technique of the mind, the technique of the heart, plus all the levels of increasing the total health quotients: physical health, mental health, emotional health, vitality health, and spiritual health. That has to be seen as a complete total health quotient. So we measure that, the total health quotients.
Master, you mentioned the basket right there, and I think where I want to break it down is, how do you convince, or how do you explain to people who have not had these treatments to try these treatments out? Because when you mention energy, chakras, and all the other things you mentioned, it's a little bit overwhelming for a lot of people that haven't tried it. How do you break it down and make it understandable for them?
Most of our cases are incurable diseases that are already forsaken by doctors, psychologists, like schizophrenia, bipolar, autism, HIV. So most of the people come are like, we are the last resort. That's why they're very difficult cases. But for people who are coming to us as like for migraine, that's very easy, like 1 session, 2 sessions. People with herniated disc, that's like a little more like 2-3 weeks or more. So when they come to us, we scan them without asking what's wrong. We prove to them that we know the energetic patterns of your problem. Before you tell us, we can scan you. And then sometimes it drives, the correlation is so high that they cannot escape the fact that we can look at the situation without telling us the problem. But we always want to have the medical diagnosis to make sure that we correlate what is the physical anatomy with the energy anatomy, and they should jive. And then we use spiritual psychology to look into the karma. There's also the karmic problems. The people who have done many wrong things, they are harvesting wrong things, and it becomes sufferings, diseases, bankruptcy, all kinds. So we have a very intricate system that if a person is more advanced, we can talk to them more advanced ways, including the law of karma, the law of cause and effect. If they are normal people, we don't have to talk to them about energy. We just remove their pain, or for example, or if they're vertigo, they're dizzy, we can just heal immediately. Or if they have, like, say, stomach ache, we can do that easily. But if they're very difficult cases like chronic diseases, then we can detect all the energies that's affecting them, the risk factors that they don't know yet. And then most people do not have diagnosis. That's the problem. So if you have a diagnosis, it's very easy. Most people, especially third world country, they don't have the money to go even to the hospital to get diagnosis. Or if this diagnosis is very expensive, like in the US, people get poor because of medical care. Just ambulatory alone is like $2,500 to go to a hospital. So, but anyway, we profile the 8 types of clients. We have 8 types of profile for different patients. They're not all the same. So when we look at the profile, somebody is very emotional, not mental, or somebody is mental, not emotional, or somebody is very athletic, he needs something else. So we cannot put everything in one peg. That's why we need to scan the templates of energy, and then we explain it in the level where they can understand. We don't explain everything unless they ask deeper questions.
I think that's the essential part. I think when a patient goes to you, what you're trying to do is you just focus on that particular pain that he's feeling or she's feeling, rather than explaining the whole concept, because I think that will overwhelm them. No, so that's good. Speaking of that, our research team actually came across an interesting video online. I think that was posted, and it's a testimony video by somebody from France. I think you were able to help somebody from France. So let's watch this, guys.
And this is the first point that I want to testify. Thank you so much for having, you have accompanied me in a very difficult moment, unknown moment in my life. That's the first point. Because I trust you. I want to tell that, I'm a judge. I am a very rational person. And what you have brought to me is a discovery. I am pretty sure that it is a very serious job. You do a very serious job. So I have no more problems of breathing now, in no time, without any pills. And that's you did it. And the second part, the marvelous part, was that I've gained a bonus. You helped me to meet my own soul. And I know from now that I will never be alone again, because my soul is now enveloping me, just like a cocoon, And this is the best part of the story.
Wow. That was a powerful video, because she says, she found the bonus because she found her soul. So, Master, I want to find out, like, she's from France and she is a Court of Appeals judge. What did you do for her, and what modes of healing did you apply?
Last month, there's so much COVID-19 in Paris and Italy, of course, New York. We've been healing a lot. And she called 3 times the doctor in the hospital, and even she's powerful, they did not allow her to go to the hospital because there's so much infection. And ICU is full, and she has almost fainting. She is bluish. She cannot breathe, and also she is a heavy smoker. She has COPD and emphysema. So all of that together, plus fainting spell, plus she has all the symptoms of COVID-19 serious. And since she cannot go to the hospital, she had searched online, and somebody told him that I have a heal plan for COVID-19 and its comorbidity. So she called us, and I assigned her to our senior healer specialist, Rego Stellar, and I advised him that this is what to do with all these conditions. And in just 6 sessions, she was able to get out from all the comorbidities, all the symptoms. She is fine. And now, as they get healed, they're looking for some more meaning to their life, like, say, can I meditate with you? Can you awaken the power of my soul? Can you awaken my mind to think abstractly and not just concretely? Because judges are very concrete and very logical. They need to start thinking of principles, philosophy. So that's what she requested, our senior healer. And we give them advanced meditation and advanced teachings. And she said that she has finally found her soul. And as a judge declaring herself as rational being, I think that's the most important. Is results usually speak for themselves, and experience. There's no greater selling point than experience. So I think everyone has to experience something that will have a tipping point in their lives.
Of course, what I find fascinating here is that you're able to treat her from a distance, like, just online, actually, and you're able to diagnose what she was feeling. Again, this will raise a lot of eyebrows and a lot of questions, but the results speak for themselves. Of course, I don't know. I mean, we're not advocating any particular treatment, but it's good to know that you're able to help people from all around the world. So
for 16 years, I've been doing online healing 16 years. And now that I'm here in a village where I can heal everyone around the world without flying. I used to fly 100 flights a year. Very terrible life. now I can heal a lot of people around the world, even in groups without physical. So it's like alternative medicine, and has many levels. There's physical that deals with the chi, with the physical, the massage. There's also the emotional healing, there's the mental healing, and there's the spiritual mentoring. So if you look at alternative medicine, it's not the same league. It can be one group of name, label, nomenclature as alternative, but there are many levels of approaches. So again, if you combine everything that can deal with the physical, energetic, emotional, mental, and spiritual, then you can have really a holistic healthcare. And I think we have to reinvent healthcare. There's no other way, and there should be a combination of the best allopathic medicine and the best energy medicine and the complementary medicine together, married together.
Got it. Thank you so much, Pastor. We will be bringing you right back. But in the meantime, despite the skepticism, alternative healing is recognized around the globe and has a large following in various cultures. For this, we bring in alternative healing advocate and practitioner and yogi, a good friend of mine, Teresa Herrera. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Stephen.
I know you're so busy with your 3 kids, but thank you very much for giving us some of your time. And I know you're busy also with your practice. First question right away, Teresa. How did you come across the practice of Ayurveda and yoga?
Well, I came across yoga and Ayurveda. I started with meditation actually in 1996, and then moved on to, I was traveling around Asia. I wanted to, have a physical regimen that I could take with me, and that doesn't require too many equipment. And then I came across yoga, because all you really need is a yoga mat. So I would be in multiple countries. I could just bring my yoga mat and still maintain. I came at it from a physical asana point of view. But as I came to deepen my practice, of course, it has become, more about the study of the philosophy, and it's become a spiritual practice for me as well.
Okay.
So this was back in 1998.
Okay, so just for our viewers, can you define more like how the practice of what the practice of Ayurveda and yoga is? Like, aside from, of course, people know it from attending, yoga classes, and it's good for stretching and all that. But in a deeper perspective, how does it really help the body and the mind?
I think for me personally, what it has given me is it's grounded me in my body. It's grounded me. My meditation practice has grounded me in my emotions and my thoughts. And really from that place of, wholeness, can you be able to make thoughtful decisions for yourself, for your family, for your communities, and for the world around you. So coming from that place, yoga for me is a very grounding practice. It's a physical practice. And, like Master Del Pace said, with alternative healing, it could all be in one, bunched up in one label, but then there's so many different levels. Well, yoga is the same. Everyone's like, okay, this is yoga, but then there's different styles of yoga. There's yin yoga, there's ashtanga, there's, Iyengar, and it depends. And back in the day when yoga was, it used to be a personal prescription to somebody, back when, I'm slipping, the name is slipping me right now. My memory is not as good as it used to be before 3 kids, but, back in the day, you would go to a guru and also talk to them about, what's happening in your life. And they ask you, mental, physical, emotional questions. And then they would prescribe a sequence. That would be your yoga practice. It would be something that you would practice, and then you would come back to your guru and said, okay, this is how I'm feeling. I'm doing much better. Where can I excel, or where can I take back? So it was kind of like that before. And then it developed into these different styles of Ashtanga, because that was given to Pattabhi Jois. So then he developed it and took off and labeled it these 4 to 6 sequences or asanas I'm going to call this Ashtanga. Yeah. And then Iyengar, who didn't have such a dynamic practice because he didn't have the same body as Pattabhi Jois, his practice was more about energetic alignment in the body and really holding the postures for minutes at a time, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes, depending on the person. So everybody is different. So for me, it's great that people come to yoga on a physical because, oh, I want to lose weight, or, I feel like I want to move, and it's something gentle. They come to it, for physical reasons, but it's beautiful because you walk out of it with more than physical benefits. You walk out of it with mental benefits, emotional benefits, as well as physical benefits.
Okay. You mentioned a while ago that, the baseline for all of these practices, and Master, please feel free to add more. You mentioned, Teresa, that the baseline for all of these treatments is the fact that alternative treatments encourage your body to heal your body. Did I get that right? So
yes,
in your
absolutely.
particular practice of yoga, and of course, Master, for energy healing, how are you? How is the body being challenged to heal itself? Like what happens inside?
Well, Master, would you like to go
Master?
ahead?
Yeah, go ahead, Master.
I think, Teresa, you're doing the right thing. When I look at your energy and your chakras, they're very bright. Your heart is very
Oh,
open.
thank
So you've
you.
been doing it the right way, very aligned, very composed. So I think you're in the right path. And there are 8 types of yoga and 12 styles of meditation. I think you are doing many levels. I see your energies progressing. And if you look at the chakras, in yoga, I use chakras. There's a heart chakra, there's a chakra here, and many places. And they stimulate the glands. The glands are the concentration point that stimulate the hormones. The chakras are the software for the glands to activate. So if you want the happy hormones, you activate the crown. If you want to be happy, of course, you activate the heart. Or if you have the thymus gland for anti-COVID-19, you do the thymus gland, the spleen, the guts, and bone marrow. So by doing yoga, by focusing on the chakras, you can even visualize the light that goes to specific organs that you need to heal. That's why the basic concept is activate the energy, do pranayama or breathing. It increases your oxygen level. It will saturate energy in your aura with dense light, which will heal you. And you can direct the energy to any part of the body you need for healing. For example, for COVID-19, you do the immune system. For HIV, we do a lot of the same or more. So I think
for the immune system, excuse me, I have a
Go ahead,
question.
Teresa.
For COVID-19 specifically, and when you're talking about the immune system, are you referring to the Muladhara chakra, which is your root chakra?
Yeah, the Muladhara at the base of the spine is the one that stimulates the white blood cells, which is for the immune system. The navel, the hara here, is the one that stimulates your guts. 70% of your immune system and your fighter cells are in the guts. So when people want to take probiotics, they need to take that one. But if you are doing yoga, just focus on your navel. That stimulates the hara, which is the tanchin in Chinese, which brings you the long life chi. And then when you stimulate the heart, it stimulates the thymus gland, which is the one that stimulates the killer cells, the T4, the 3, the 8s. But if you want the lymphatic system, the throat, and the spleen is very important for COVID-19. This is where a lot of people need to stimulate to purify the dead cells, the viruses, and also the prana. There are many kinds of prana. That's why we need to study that in yoga. But I'd like to insert a trivia there, Stephen. You know that 170 countries now are promoting alternative medicine around the world. 170 under the WHO. 170.
Wow, that's a lot.
Southeast Asia is number 1. Southeast Asia is number 1. And last year, people in the industry of alternative medicine earned $69.3 billion, and they estimated by 2027 will be $229 billion by 2020. So it's like a growing thing. So it must be working because people are looking.
People are paying for it, so I guess it's working.
40% are using it in America.
Yes. You know what? There's a big question mark on my forehead right now because you and Teresa talking, I know you guys understand each other, but I'm personally a believer as well. I've tried these energy healing. I've tried trance dance with Teresa Herrera. I loved it. But honestly, how can you bring it down to the level of the ordinary person that wants to try it but doesn't understand anything? Like, for example, you're talking about energy a while ago. Like, is there a physical manifestation of this energy? Because like, if we're talking about prana and energy, people just think it's just this magical thing.
Yeah, you can feel it in your hands. We can teach people how to feel the energy, like in Qigong medicine, like Oriental or in Indian philosophy. They use the energy to feel. Like, I can scan your chakras. I can scan anyone in the world because we are inside the energy of the earth. Anything you want to do here goes there. It's like the cell phone. You don't have to link. So if you know the person's signature of energy, you can project energy to a distance.
Okay.
That's what we do. Like online healing is very, very common.
Yeah. Master, I'm gonna just cut you off there. When you brought up the cell phone signal, that's a good metaphor, because I think the cell phone signal is not something you can physically see, but you know it exists because your phone works, right? So yeah, that's actually a good way of putting it. Teresa, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I mean, Master said it very well. I'm learning.
He's the
I'm
master.
still learning. He's a master. I'm a student. I'm a
You have
lifelong
a
student.
good heart and good crown. I think you've been opening your portal of consciousness.
I try. I'm very open.
Yeah. And the Patanjali yoga is from the advanced yoga. The Patanjali, that's one of the more advanced yoga systems.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, I believe that you cannot have a functioning society without healthy people. You know, and you can't have a truly healthy people without without them being a whole person. So you have to approach it from a holistic point of view. You have to approach health from a holistic point of view.
Got it. Okay.
I agree.
I have more questions now than answers. So actually, maybe we can open up the floor to to more questions from the audience. Let's bring back in Doc Homer Lim, and we're gonna ask questions from the audience right now. Let's bring in the video question first. Here's a video question.
Hi there. So I have several questions. First is, how do I get over my own apprehensions over alternative healing? Are there things that I can do to help fully open myself and others like me to try these methods? And lastly, do I need to consult a doctor first? So there, thanks.
Okay, so that was a question from our good friend Kim. So the question again, can you bring that up, guys? How do I get over? We can break down this question between Master and Teresa. So maybe the first part, Teresa, you can answer. How do I get over my own apprehensions over alternative healing or treatments? And then, let's take that question first. Teresa, go ahead.
I would say, well, I would ask you, how much do you want to get well? What is the desire? If it's something you really, if it's a chronic condition that you've been wanting to find a cure for, there's a certain kind of urgency to it. It depends. And I always say, when people come to my yoga class, I always say, they go, oh, do I need to be flexible? Do I need to be this? I said, no. All you need is to come in. If you can breathe, you can do yoga. All you need to come in with an open heart and just be open. So that's what I always say. So in terms of alternative healing, just come in curious.
I come in with an open mind. You're right, because the few times that I did try alternative treatments, it was when I couldn't get any more answers from my doctors, and then I had to try something else, and it worked. Sometimes both works. It's a matter of which particular ailment you want to consult. Doc, Master, would you like to answer the second part, which is what can I do to help fully open myself and others like me to these methods? And should I consult a doctor first?
Yeah, there are 8 types of patients or clients. So that Einstein, they need first to know, and they want to control the information. So they want to attend first a seminar to validate if this is good for them or not. Or they intellectualize things. For the Mother Teresa patients, they just want to be taken care of and nurtured, so you need to listen to them. And when you know the bottom line that they need to release their stress, their bereavement or grief, then you just let them breathe to the ocean. Afterwards, they're happy. If they were a strong personality like the George Bush or Duterte, they demand the healings, and then you just have to say, okay, what do you want? What's your bottom line? Something. So by knowing exactly what they need and listen to them, we give a free consulting for 20 minutes and no string attached. If they like what we do and what we say, they continue. If they don't like, we tell them, please go back to your doctor. Maybe this is necessary for the cure, not the healing. So we differentiate the cure versus healing. Or if they want more time and they have more patience, they said, okay, this is not a surgery that you get immediately the cancer out of your breast and then you get a lot of healing. So we always explain that the speed of recovery should balance the speed of decay, or it should be faster. So we do an open dialogue and conversation to make sure that they do not feel alienated. I listen to them, we listen to them, that they know exactly what they want. Or I would say, what did the doctor say? What's the prognosis? So I listen to them and make sure that we accommodate and nurture the conversation. And I call it collaborative listening rather than attentive. Collaborative is like you have to interact with the search question, that what you're asking is what they really need to act and to say. Because if you're just listening to a complaint, you become a garbage can. Then you will get all the emotional problems. You need to be collaborative. You need to be following up their questions so that at one point, there's a tipping point that say, okay, I need you now. Please help me. Or they will say, let me think about it. So we just, okay, take your time.
Okay, let's bring in Doc Homer to help us answer these questions, because our lines are burning. We have a lot of questions coming in. So part of that question was, do I need to consult a doctor before I try alternative treatments? Doc Homer, do you guys use like the X-rays, all these tests before you do any of your alternative treatments? Doc Homer.
Well, actually, to answer the first question with regards to apprehension, I think the easiest way to ease the apprehension is to get some form of referral from your friends. So,
yes.
You ask your friends, do you know this healer or this practitioner? Is he or she, good? Can he or she be trusted? I think that's the easiest way to ease your apprehension. Now, the second question would be, should I consult a doctor first? Well, it's a matter of, common sense. If let's say you're having a hard time breathing, you don't go to your alternative doctor. You have to go to the hospital, because unless the alternative center has an oxygen tank there, so we have to apply some form of, common sense. So if there are things that that's an emergency, or having severe pain, difficulty breathing, of course you go to the hospital. You see the doctor. You don't go, to whichever mountain you have to go to, only to suffer.
I like your pragmatic approach, Doc Homer. If you can't breathe and you don't have a respirator, obviously you direct them to a hospital. So you do refer them to a conventional medical treatment if it's something that you feel you cannot treat, right? Okay.
That's right.
We have a question again from the audience, and they ask, is alternative medicine more affordable than traditional medicine? It's a very relevant question, especially nowadays when times are hard. This one's from Rodel Sazon.
Well, of course, if you want to do, meditation, energy healing, some form of energy healing, it depends on the practitioner. But if, let's say, you do exercise, your yoga, your meditation, deep breathing exercises, they're practically free, right? But of course, some of the alternative medicine, it depends on what machines they're using, where they're located, and how much the practitioner would charge. So it's
still relative to the equipment used, who is practicing it, and I guess which particular practitioner, because different practitioners charge differently. Master, would you like to add anything, or Teresa? Like, which one is more expensive?
Well, I'll come from a personal experience. In LA a few years ago, I actually slipped and fell and hurt my knee, and I damaged it pretty badly. So I actually had to go see an orthopedic surgeon to have a look at my knee. And right away, they said, surgery, you need a surgery. And I kind of wanted to do something non-invasive. So I saw another orthopedic surgeon, said the same thing. And then I was introduced to an acupuncturist. I actually went with an acupuncturist. And for me, that experience saved me thousands of dollars, seeing an acupuncturist every week for about 4 months versus going straight into surgery. And I don't even know what the recovery of, a knee surgery would be like, because I didn't go through it. And I'm perfectly fine, and I'm perfectly well, and my body is working. So from a personal experience, yes, it saved me a lot of money.
it happened to me also. I had cervical spondylosis, and I was diagnosed to actually get an operation. But I just did yoga, I did Pilates, and acupuncture, and also helped. So
Yes.
um, I guess the thing is, most of these treatments are not covered by medical insurance, unlike traditional medical treatments, which are. So does that also pose a challenge for alternative treatments? Master, you want to answer that?
I think let me go back to I think it has to be case by case. If a person has acute appendicitis, I'd rather bring them to the hospital, even I myself. So let's respect the validity of medical science. If the person has to have surgery, then they have to have surgery. Then we can complement healing to make them heal faster. So I think there should be a perspective point into this rather than comparing both in a more like a duality or fighting both. I believe in the complementary aspect of the best of the proven medicine and the best of the alternative medicine. So I think it is less expensive to go to complementary if you are dealing with future side effects of a severe medication. Like, for example, I have HIV clients in Africa. They've been taking so much drugs because of their opportunities. So they have like a cocktail of so many things. At the end, they have so many side effects in their liver and the kidney and everywhere that I will be taking so much time healing the side effects than does HIV. And so the side effect sometimes is bigger than the cause. So you have to balance between, is it better for medical treatment or is it better by healing the mind? For example, loneliness. You cannot put hormones in loneliness. You have to heal loneliness at the emotional level. Or if it's a dark night of the soul, it's a psychospiritual syndrome. You cannot medicate it because it's about the soul's purpose to bring you that awakening. So it's not like the other replacing the other. I will always respect dentistry. You cannot do chewable things. You have to go to the dentist for things.
Yeah,
Correct.
you can't use energy to replace a molar.
Correct. Yeah, good point.
Okay. Well, there are good doctors, there are bad doctors, but the same way alternative treatments, there are good ones and bad ones. There's a question here online from our chat, and then it goes, there's a lot of alternative treatments online. How do I know that I'm choosing the right treatment? Or how do I know that at least it's not fake or it's not a scam? Master, or
I think as Dr. Lim said, you have to have a good reference point that they validate and vouch that this person is real and I have done it before or something like that. Secondly, you need to see their website, not just selling things, not just commercial. You need to see the sincerity of the effort, not to overpromise, not to underpromise. So it's a balanced perspective of what you want to achieve. Do you want to heal your emotions? Do you want to heal your past? Or you just want to heal your PMS?
Correct.
So it's an immediate thing. So do you have a bug? Then you go to the doctor, rudimentary medicine, or hematology medicine. Or do you want to uproot your loneliness? Then you have to go to a spiritual mentor, or you go to a higher psychologist to have that. Or if you have an emotional bruise of your ego because you've been humiliated, you've been bankrupt in business, that needs a post-traumatic syndrome healing, which is, you cannot medicate that. It's a little bit a different way of crisis rescue or crisis management, or healing the bereavement from the loss of the business or loss of a loved one. It's hard to medicate grief.
Okay, so you look at the sincerity of the particular healer, and you take it from there. I guess if they're charging you up front, even before doing anything, that's a clear sign that you've gone to the wrong website. Okay,
Steven, if they can't guarantee, if you're not satisfied, they return your money. That's one guarantee. Like I guarantee that. Like, okay, return policy. Okay, if you're not happy with my workshop, return no money, no question asked.
Got it.
That's the American way. So we do the American way sometimes. You're not happy, return.
Put your money where your mouth is, basically, right? Okay. There's another question here. When you choose the alternative medicine, does this mean you are minimizing the adverse effect of a certain drug? So does it contradict traditional, conventional medicine when you do alternative medicine? This one's from Johnny Reyes. Doc Homer or Teresa, would you like to chime in? Yeah.
Well, actually, the question was, could you use alternative alternative medicine to minimize drug
The adverse
adverse
effect. Sorry,
effects.
yeah, the adverse effect of drugs. Yes. Okay.
Yes, so with side effects, yeah, you can use alternative medicine to decrease the
Mm.
adverse or bad side effects. Yeah, you can do that definitely.
Okay. Teresa, as a practitioner, would you have any questions that directly towards Doc Homer or Master? Anything that you want to ask them?
Oh yes. You were mentioning this. This question is for Master Delpe. You were mentioning earlier that you could, the center you have is for incurable diseases. When it comes to autism, I'm so fascinated by this topic because, the numbers for COVID-19 around the world, the deaths are around what, 300,000, 400,000, somewhere there for the global deaths. Yeah, but for the known one, exactly. But for autism, I'm so surprised, but it's up to 77 million kids have autism.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's
I
a
mean,
lot.
if you're comparing, I'm not saying that, it's more, it's either one is better. I'm not trying to minimize COVID, but what I'm saying is, how come no one's looking at the autism rates and numbers, and how do you cure that in your center?
Well, I had maybe only 7 healed cases of autism. And some of them
Wow.
90-year-old, some are. So that's a difficult case because it requires a few months, like sometimes 4 months to 8 months, depending on the case. If they're older, it takes more time. If they're younger, it's easier, like probably 3 months. So I say that I think it's a legal or I would say policy of the WHO. They always claim that the vaccines has done it, this and that. So I don't know. Those are rumors. But, I think there must be an increasing number of autism and even bipolarity. So we have to look at what is causing it. That's the first. Second is
Exactly.
what culture are more affected. Like a lot of Americans, a lot of Europeans are affected. I don't know, in the Philippines, we have less autism than the United States, but the US has a lot of autism. India is a lot more on spastic children than so I think there may be a connection on cultural. There can be a connection on the environmental thing. But my experience with them is they're not as easily healed. And it takes time. But medically, they're not responders. See? They don't respond to medication easily.
Master, did they make a full recovery from autism, like these cases that you mentioned?
Most of them went back to school. They had become creative, become like active. They can focus back to school. They used to be lost all the time. Like their parents had to be looking for them everywhere, and they fear that they're dead at night.
That's amazing.
That's very worrisome for parents. It's like terrible.
That's amazing. The Homer,
look into that because it's really increasing. 77 million is a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Doc Homer, I have a question. Year on year, have you noticed more patients coming into your clinic trying to get into alternative treatments, like from a business perspective? Because that's the way you measure, the effectivity of what you're doing, like you mentioned. No? Has there been a gradual increase year on year?
Since I'd say since the last 5 years, there have been more people because more people are now aware. 90% of my patients are cancer patients. So more people are now very, very aware of the side effects of conventional drugs and chemotherapy, radiotherapy. So more and more people really seek alternative therapies, whether it's from me or for other doctors. I think it's the same. It's growing. In fact, a world report showing that the increase in complementary therapies would be around 20% in the next 5 years.
Amazing. I wish I could ask more questions, but we're nearing the end of our show. A while ago, we asked the audience if they would try alternative healing. And now that we've given you more information, the next question we're asking them is, are you willing to try alternative healing after listening to all our esteemed specialists? And the results are not yet in, but based on the first poll that we did, I think we have an uptake from 77%. Now it's up to 86%. So it's clearly showing that people are not
And
pursuing it because of lack of information, or maybe because they don't have anybody to talk to that really knows much about this, or has had experience doing the treatment. So good sign. We're gonna find out the results in a few minutes, but for now we are calling on our speakers once again for their final words. So we've heard everything, we've discussed all the different modalities. Now we want to find out how how each of the guests plans to restart wellness through alternative treatments. So let's start with Master Delpe. Master, the floor is yours.
I would always promote the healthy integration of modern medicine, allopathic medicine, with alternative or complementary medicine to make it really integrative. Because I believe the modern medicine has a gift to humanity. It has proven its worth. And there's a lot of need for the physical healing, and that is called cure. But for the healing side of humanity, to heal our emotions, to heal our past, to heal our minds, and to increase our vitality, to heal our karma of our past, wrong things that we have done that's catching up with us that cause sufferings, can be a disease or financial bankruptcy. We need to combine both to have the new world of healthcare. We need to reinvent healthcare. As proven by COVID-19 pandemic, we cannot rely only on doctors and hospitals, because either they don't have the solutions yet, or they are full capacity. And what happens if your own child or you have COVID-19 and they tell you not to go to the hospital and just take any pill? You will feel bad. So the insurance probably would not be able to deliver those anymore through just medical care. So I believe a healthy approach to the new best normal for healthcare is to combine the best of the Eastern wisdom, the Oriental medicine, and all the best of healing arts and sciences, and get the best ones that works. And then get the best of medicine to give the cure. If you combine them, you have the best corrective measure and the correct preventive measure. And then we will have a new health system that brings also the maturity of taking care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. Do not rely on doctors who you see them 5 minutes per year when you're sick. You need to take care of yourself. You need to see the total health quotients that includes the spiritual health, mental health, emotional health, vitality health, and physical health. We need to be responsible, because we are responsible for our health, and we are the one that gets sick. It's not a doctor, it's not your parent, it's you. So everyone has to take care of themselves and move on to a new light of good health. Has to be a way of life, and a good virtue of life. And it is as good as measuring your money in success. Measure your total health quotient, how healthy you are, and that is also the barometer of success in life and bringing fulfillment. So that's my challenge to everyone. Let's reinvent the new healthcare that brings the best of the Eastern wisdom and alternative medicine and the best of Western medicine. And let's enjoy both, the best provision of God towards humanity by having the best world.
Thank you so much, Master Delpe. Reimagining the future of healthcare. Next up, Doc Homer, give us your insights on how to restart wellness.
Well, I think the easiest way would be, first, you have to make sure that you're eating the right kind of food, not those canned foods, those instant noodles. I think we have to make sure that we're eating, good, slow cooked food, not those, easy to cook, quick cook food. So we have to be aware of what we're eating. Secondly, I think more important now, especially with this, is we should not be, in fear. I mean, the latest data now on COVID, it's just like a seasonal flu. So this fear is causing so much stress in our bodies and in our minds. It's causing so much havoc now as compared to before COVID. So I think we have to address this fear, by looking up and, at the information, or at the right information. And the right information is there. This COVID is not as deadly as we thought it was. So we have to get rid of that fear factor now.
Got it. Thank you so much, Doc Homer. And of course, last but not the least, our yogi of the house, Teresa Herrera.
Hi, thank you, Stephen. Well, I think to restart your health care in the new normal. For me, the best health care is always preventive. So perhaps craft routines and rituals that will support your optimum health, whether that be a daily meditation practice, a daily physical practice, whether it be yoga, walking, swimming, whatever it is for you. And eat well, eat whole foods, organic if you can, whatever is accessible to you. And really be curious about the sources of your food. So if you're going to eat meat, if you're an omnivore, make sure it comes from good sources, not too much antibiotics, things that is really going to support your health. I would say start with those. Those are things that you can, take with you and walk away. And aside from that, creating rituals, of sleep, making sure you get 8 to 10 hours of sleep every day, hydrate. I mean, these are things that are very accessible to everyone. Sleep, hydrate, and something simple as breathing actually helps release a lot of the tension, a lot of the stress and negativity, and helps calm the mind and ground the body.
Thank you so much, Teresa. I guess, coming off this discussion, we can clearly see that there are a lot of inter overlaps between, traditional medical practice and alternative treatments. No? And it deals a lot with taking care of your body. You mentioned drinking water, eating the right food. These are things that are also advised by our doctors. So it's good to see the left and the right side of, treatments. Now, a while ago, we did a social experiment. We asked people if they would consider or they've tried alternative healing, and the answer that we got was around 86% a while ago, but now it's up to 97% for people who will actually try alternative treatments, and this is really a good sign. I mean, after this whole episode, 1 hour makes so much of a difference to these viewers. So what more if people can just research some more. I mean, I tried googling online, but there wasn't a lot of articles that really talked about it. So I guess more information really needs to be done. With that in mind, we'd like to promote once again our Restart Wellness community, the Facebook group where people can access exclusive content and where you can communicate with other people that have the same belief system in terms of wellness. And we hope that this discussion sparked further curiosity on alternative modes of healing. For those interested to heal their life, of course, we'd like to invite you to catch Master Delpe's online event called Heal Your Past this Sunday at 9 p.m. And for those who want to learn how to heal and share it with others, you can take the Be Well Science Basic Healing course that he's also giving. All the details of the classes are flashed on the screen and also on the website of Master Delpe. Just for today, I'm going to be Oprah because Master Delpe is giving everybody who's watching a free downloadable meditation guide. So all you have to do is visit the website on the screen and use the code RESTARTGIFT. So everybody gets the gift if you're watching it live.
Can I surprise you, Steven?
Yes.
One of my important book, Higher Sense of Longevity, How to Live More Than 120 Years.
Would you want to live over 100? Yeah, sure. Why not?
3 gifts to anyone that you select. 3 gifts. Of course,
Okay.
to Dr. Lim and to
Teresa. Teresa and Dr. Lim get a free book.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm excited to read it.
Yeah.
Master, how many books are you giving
Thank
away? So
you.
I know how many people to choose.
Just give 5.
5 lang. Okay, 5. Kala ko 5,000. Okay, thank you so much, Master Delpe.
Download from my website is for everyone who wants to do it from your group.
Thank you so much, Master. So once again, I'd like to thank all my guests, Teresa, Doc Homer, and of course, Master Delpe. Thank you very much for joining me today. I know you guys are all busy, but thank you for sharing your wisdom and your practice. And we hope you help a lot of people now who are nowadays stuck in their homes trying to find an alternative way to treat their problems. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you guys once again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Take care.
bye, guys.
Bye, Doctor.
Bye.
So right now, we're just going to wrap it up, right? Master Delpe, he mentioned a while ago that Western medicine should be partnered with healing sciences and alternative modalities to bring the best of Eastern wisdom and Western science. It's all about balance. Let's heal every aspect of life with, of course, his practice. Doc Homer Lim quotes Khalil Gibran by saying, "Our anxiety does not come from thinking about the future, but from wanting to control it." And he emphasized on fear, like letting go of fear. And he also emphasized on, eating properly. So more of the natural foods, organic food, rather than processed food. Teresa Herrera mentioned a while ago, a lot about, letting the body heal itself. And for a functioning society, we need healthy people. So you can't have healthy people who are not whole. Wow, quotable quote from Teresa. Thank you so much. And I mean, it's been an important episode for me, and I guess for a lot of people who are experiencing a lot of pains and aches. But it's important to keep an open mind. There are many ways to address a problem, but you have to find a solution that suits you best. After all, the biggest healer of them all is your mind. Get to know your body, listen to what it needs, what works for it, and nourish it with what is necessary to become strong. Thanks for watching. It's Pride Month, and join us on our next episode as Restart Creatives talks about the LGBTQIA+ community and how they come together and thrive during this time of isolation. Once again, this is Stephen Koo saying it's not game over, it's time to restart.